So, all right, well, you know what? Obviously, Kristen's not calling in, so we're at the 9 o'clock hour, and our first guest is already here. So let's do this. Let's welcome back to the show. I actually have like music lined up. I can play like I'm not even gonna like say her name yet. I'm just gonna like play tidbits of song. Let's see. I'm gonna do this one first. Let's do this one. Let's see if we'll get a laugh. Maybe I'll laugh. She'll enjoy this. Hopefully YouTube will work. Look, it takes so long. We'll probably hear a commercial first. Did you hear it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Let's welcome back to the show the Ziggy Stardust of cosplay, the one and only Miss Echo Endless. What's going on there, girl?
Not too much. What's going on with you guys?
You know what? A lot. Too much. So that's why we're going to take a break.
Nothing wrong with that. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus myself.
Yes, you have. I was investigating all that stuff earlier, and I was taking note of that, and we're going to give you a kick in the ass tonight, and we're going to get you creating again and doing all the stuff you should be doing. It seems like you've been very sidetracked by Pokemon lately.
Yeah, Pokemon has definitely taken over a good portion of my life. It's funny. It's something, been around for quite some time now, but it's made a resurgence, certainly with Pokemon Go coming out last summer. So I started in on that, and then, it kind of re-enlivened Pokemon altogether for me. So I started playing the card game, and then it's, plushies, and then it turns into cosplay, and then it just starts taking over your whole life because they're tiny, adorable Japanese animals, and how could that not take over your whole life?
Yeah, like when I started seeing you like doing the Pokemon Go, I'm like, holy shit! Like now she's doing Pokemon Go, and that just goes to show you, like that can suck anybody in that Pokemon Go, and that's why I refuse to even do it.
Oh, my God. It's awesome. It's great, especially, I'm a commuter, so I'm taking the train into work every day. So it's, something to do on the train. It's something to do when you're in any given social situation where you feel awkward and you don't want to talk to the people around you. You just play Pokemon Go, and it's good. It's a nice little social shield. But it's so funny. I can't tell you how many people come up to me, will see me playing it, and they'll be like, oh, that's still a thing? And you're like, dude, it was last summer. It hasn't even been a year yet. Like, that's still a thing? Yeah, it's still a thing. It's not like it's 50 years old. Jeez, guys. Like,
well, it got like, it seemed like it took over the media like crazy, and then it just kind of like fizzled out.
It did, and the terrible thing was that the game really wasn't even very good when most people were playing it. Like, when it was still new, there was a ton of bugs. Like, it didn't work fluidly. It wasn't great. It had great potential, and I saw that, and I stuck with it, and I'm so happy I did because I really enjoy playing it all the time. But it definitely, I think when most people were playing it at first, like, the game was hardly playable, like, the first month it came out.
Now, I can only imagine, like seeing you like on the bus or the train or whatever you're taking into work, and seeing you playing this game.
Like I said, it's good, but it's cool too. It's one of those things that you see. I've made friends with strangers because of playing Pokemon Go. You see people out and about, and, you see them playing too, and then you check out what team they're on, and you end up talking to some people, as good as a social shield as it is, you do end up talking to some people that you never would have met or never would have encountered otherwise, and that's a really cool thing about it too. You've got, and the nice thing is, like in my neighborhood, I'll see a lot of, a lot of adults out playing it with their kids and stuff, and it just gives them, a reason to connect over, what we see sometimes, we see our technology as something that's cold and that takes us apart from each other, but we can use it to bring ourselves together too when we want.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like my daughter works at a local library here, and every Saturday morning, they were seeing like this van parked in the parking lot, and this was going on for like a month and a half, 2 months, and they were starting to get freaked out. And they talked to the manager of the library, and they're like, they're telling the manager, like, there's this van, it's always parked here on Saturday mornings, and this guy's just sitting in the van. We don't know what to do. And she's like, well, if it's there again this Saturday, call the police. So the van is there that Saturday, and they call the police, and here the police come zooming in. They surround this van, and here it's a father playing Pokemon Go with his son.
Aww. They surrounded the van. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. I also have had a run-in with the local law enforcement while playing Pokemon, where I was an undercover guy, and I'm at a local park, and I'm just sitting there in my car because it's a Poke Gym. So we're sitting there, and I'm battling the gym, and all of a sudden there's a knock on my window, and there's a guy telling me to give him my ID, and this guy looks like 21 Jump Street. Like, he could have been anybody. He was just in plain clothes. He totally could have been anybody. And I was like, show you my ID. I was like, but show me your ID. Who are you? And he got all flustered, and he went back to the car, and he got it. But he was really, really harassing the hell out of us, which I thought was funny considering, that, like I said, that he looked like 21 Jump Street, and then all we were doing was playing Pokemon Go. And we're like, hey, listen, he's like, you guys aren't supposed to be back here. And we're like, this is a Pokestop. And look at it, it's right, it's a gym. It's right here on the map. It's, I didn't make the game. It's not my fault.
Now, do you get, like, you should really, like, freak people out and be, like, dressed up as She-Hulk and doing this?
And playing Pokemon. There was a video in the works with that, but we never, ever finished it. It didn't happen. There's lost footage somewhere on a memory card somewhere.
That's that creative part. You gotta the creation. Keep it going.
I mean, it's tough for me. I'm just really I'm one of those scatterbrained artists that's always on to the next thing, and kind of like She-Hulk. I often wish that I could run. She's a lawyer. I do some different things with my secret identity, but, I want to have that successful, run that successful business, have that successful day job, and then be the superhero on the side. But sometimes, you got to pay the bills, unfortunately.
I know. Which, like, why haven't you ever, and I've wondered this too, like, why haven't you ever become like that full-time superhero? Like, did you ever think of doing that, like being that full-time, quote-unquote, cosplayer and, like, touring around the country and doing that whole thing?
Hey, listen, if I had, some backing or, came from a really super rich family and didn't grow up and work for everything that I've ever had, then, yeah, maybe that would be great. But that's one of the reasons why I don't do it is that, I do have to work for all of the things that I have. So in order to kind of get started in that, you need a little bit of, get off the ground. And the other thing, too, is that that would become work, and it wouldn't be as fun to do it when you do have the chance to do it. I mean, we really started doing the guest thing at conventions, mostly to get into conventions for free. I mean, you know how expensive it can be to get into conventions. And, and we did it to give back because it used to be, when I was younger, it was pretty inexpensive to get into a convention. You might pay, like $15, $20 to get in for the day. Like that was, that's acceptable to get in, to have a day. Now you're not going to get somewhere for less than $50. So,
I know, it's crazy.
And that's just to get in. That's not to pay for your parking when you're there or, your autographs or anything else. That's just simply for your ticket for one day, and that's if you're only going for one day. So that was, one of the reasons why we did it. I never really had intentions of being professional at it. And if you check out, I have some really lengthy dissertations on the subject. If you check out my Twitter, I think a lot it has gone really far from its roots, from what it once was, And I don't ever think that there was like a time in cosplay when cosplay was like this pure thing that, once was good and now is corrupted. I think it just kind of like has gotten out of proportion where everybody thinks that it's the same thing I think with like a lot of kids with the Instagram fame or the YouTube fame. You ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, well, I want to be famous. Okay, well, what do you want to be famous for? Oh, I don't know, Instagram, What do you mean? Like, do you do anything? No, I take selfies and Instagram. Like I'm a beauty enthusiast. What?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't want it to be a job for me. I want it to be something that, that's always fun. And I was never a competitive person, so it's difficult for me to get out there and compete. And it's so cosplay is something that's so accessible to everybody now, which is awesome because you can do a lot of things that you weren't able to do in the past. Get materials on, that you were costume pieces that you would never be able to get 15 years ago. You can get that now, and that's awesome. But that being said, there's so many more people coming in the door every day that, like I said, I'm not a competitive person. I was never I was never about that popularity contest in high school. And why the hell would I start doing that now?
Yeah, right. Now, you mentioned the corrupt cosplay, and this is something I have seen really over the last few weeks more and more, and I kind of scratch my head at it, and I'm just like, what the frig is going on here? Where I'm seeing some of these girls now are like, here, buy me something on my Amazon wish list, and you'll get entered into my secret Instagram. And then I see the person like a few days later posting, I can't believe people are taking my special secret Instagram pictures and posting them all over the internet. I'm thinking to myself, how stupid are you? Like, really? Did you not think like this was going to happen?
It's like, dude, that kind of stuff, it really blows my mind. And I mean, that's been going on for a while, and I don't, I don't want to take anything away from people, if the people that work in the sex industry and stuff, like, that's great. If that's what you've chosen and that's what, you want to do to make money, that's awesome. But I think a lot of the cosplay people are taking money away from them too. Because you are really, when you're putting yourself out there and you're doing this, like, here's my secret Instagram, and you're already in a scantily clad costume, you're putting out the idea to someone that they're going to see more skin if they, buy a present for this person or donate to this person or whatever. And then they get to see these secret pictures that nobody's going to see. So you're really doing something that is a little shady. And whether you're showing more skin or you're not, the idea that you are enticing people with that idea is corrupt, is negative. It's not it's not good business. You certainly couldn't go around like running a business that way. I'm not know people do. And it's just not about the costumes. It's about people getting other people to buy them stuff, which is just kind of grody to me.
Yes.
It's not like, hey, oh, my God, you respect my costumes. Like, sign up for my tutorial where I'm going to show you how to build costumes. Clearly, that's not what's going on.
Yeah, that kind of like I've seen it in even like the wrestling business. I've seen it too, where it's like, here's my Amazon wish list. Buy me Christmas presents, and it's like, really, like, come on,
yeah.
Like,
and then they'll do a big video where they like open up the presents in front of everybody. Yes. And it's just this kind of like grand celebration of everybody's egotism, and it's not what I'm about. It's an easy trap to fall into, certainly for a lot of young people too. So, you can't be mad at everybody for it, because it's one of those things where it's like, well, everybody's doing it and nobody's telling you that it is wrong or why it's wrong, so why wouldn't you do it too? It just seems to be the way of things. But, it's not about like, hey, I'm pretty, look at me and buy me things. It's, You're doing the same thing that the Kardashians are doing if you're doing that.
Right.
And
Right.
again, hey, listen, if that's the life you chose and that's the life you're living, more power to you. It's just not the life I'm living.
Now, how about you also said too about like how cosplay is really opening up and you're seeing more and more people come in, and what I'm seeing is the game, let's say like the quote unquote game of cosplay is being taken to a whole new level. It just seems like where like now everybody, like you're saying, has like your talent where they're just going above and beyond just putting a costume on now.
Yeah, and I mean that's in a lot of ways, like I said, like that's really it's amazing and that's really cool and it's great to be able to see this like this hyper reality sort of right in your face at conventions and to see a lot of these people that are doing it. Where I think even just a little while ago there was more people that were doing it in a really crappy way and trying to tout about it. At least there's tons and tons of more talent, and that's just here in the States. If you really look at people, internationally, it's just insane. Some of the amazing talent that's out there and the amazing costumes that are out there. And I was just talking with my brother the other day, and we were talking about, like movie special effects makeup. And if you come back like to the 50s, nobody knew how to really do anything. You're looking at like Dick Smith and some of the early special effects makeup artists, and their stuff's really pretty terrible. I mean, and because you're saying if I knew the things I knew now and I could travel back in time to then, even with the materials available to me, man, I could do a really bang up job. Like I could really impress people. But we have everything right at our fingertips. We have the internet. If you want to learn how to do a technique that you saw someone else do, you look up a tutorial on it and it's right there for you. There's, it's wonderful, but there's not as, the innovation is happening exponentially because we have so much information at our fingertips. And it's a neat thing, but it's a sad thing for a lot of people because they don't get the chance to kind of keep up,
Right.
And it does. It becomes a very, it's become like a competitive cosplay is now like a competitive sport.
It totally has. So you never like got into like the whole cosplay like contests and all they have at some of the conventions? Well, basically at every convention.
No, I mean we did a couple. I entered one Wizard World as She-Hulk, and I went up there and dropped a couple of lines from Gamma Bomb, and they were really not happy about that. It did not go over well. It went over well with the crowd. It just didn't really go over well with the judge. And we entered a couple as groups, and we did really well, but it was just really not satisfying. I mean, you're there, and you're standing online for, you miss, like, the last 3 hours of the convention, and
right.
You stand online, and you stand online, and you stand online, and you're standing online, which is what you're doing all day at the convention anyway. You stand on this boring line for 3 hours so that somebody can judge you. Like, that doesn't sound like a great time to me.
Now that you put it that way.
I mean, you think about like going to the pearly gates, like, oh God, I'm gonna stand here and wait to be judged. I don't want to wait to be judged by anybody, and I don't like, I like doing as a judge. I like doing like the kids costume contest, although it's always really hard to choose. I just like seeing all the kids in the costumes and like the effort that the kids put in and the parents put in and they did stuff together. Like that's really cool to see, but yeah, as far as like I'm just not into the competitive part of it.
That's interesting. Because
it's not, but I was never. I mean, like I said, I'm not really a competitive person in that way. I'm competitive against myself, but I would never play like competitive sports or anything like that. I'm not a gambler. Like that's just not my, it's not my scene.
But how competitive are you with Pokemon Go?
Well, and then I'm competing against myself. So, I only have 3 accounts. And one's a level 33, the other is like a 26, and the other one's a 23, I think. So, only a little competitive with myself on that.
Oh, that's funny. Now, my co-host Nick, he's out in the Phoenix, Arizona area, and he. I'm sure you probably heard about the situation last week or 2 weeks ago with the Phoenix Comic Con. and he wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what happened was they caught a gunman that was there to go. He was there for the police. They're saying he was also there for Jason David Frank, who's the Green Power Ranger. And I guess, actually, what I want to talk about is what happened afterwards, and that was the Comic-Con changed the rules. They weren't letting anybody in with any weapons, any props of any kind. And I wanted to see, does the thought of that or the potential for that, does it change your planning as far as which characters you're going to do and what you can and can't bring?
Yeah, I mean, we have a huge pile. We do our group Moonbase. We do a lot of we do Payday. We do Red Ops Umbrella from Resident Evil. We do a lot of different, really like heavy artillery weapons-based group cosplays. So that really, it does. It changes the game for that kind of thing. For the cosplayers, and I mean, I think it's one of those things is taking your shoes off at the airport, where it's something that they make you do, but it doesn't actually they make you do it so that everybody feels safer, but it doesn't actually make anything any safer for anyone. If somebody, really they really wanted to kill somebody at a convention, it would be, they would do it. It would be easy for them to do it. It's just like I said, it's a matter of everybody feels like something has to be done, so this is what they're going to do. At a lot of cons, weapons have always been an issue where, you've got to check your weapon. They got to put this big, hunky, like, fluorescent orange or fluorescent green tag around it so we know that this is, and it's got to have the orange tips and everything else. If you check out, there's a fun video that we did for weapon safety with Sin Eater and She-Hulk. It's definitely a good one to watch. It's one of our earlier videos, but it's a lot of fun. That's on our YouTube channel on the Echo Endless. But, this is something that we kind of always took with a grain of salt because it's one of those things. They do it to make that appearance of safety or that appearance and make people feel safer because all you have to do is, like, get a pair of scissors and cut it off, once you're in the convention center. So it's not really effective, and it's not really, it doesn't really change anything.
You guys should have seen the outside of the Comic-Con, though. I mean, it was so sad. There was, like, 25 Deadpools and Punishers all with their weapons that couldn't get inside.
So sad. That's so sad.
Now,
but you know what? There's been a lot of times, too, where there's been weapons check, and, we just, like, walked right by it, and nobody said anything. Or there's been times where we went to conventions, and there was, I went in one day and, had a ton of weapons on one costume, and nobody said anything. And then I walk in the next day, and I'm there with different costume, different weapons, and they're like, hey, we got to check that. And we're like, okay, well, I was just here yesterday. Oh, you weren't here yesterday. I'm like, okay, well, do you remember that, you remember such and such? You saw that costume, right? Yeah, oh, I saw that. Okay, well, you didn't check those weapons, so you didn't need to check those, but you need to check these. I mean, they're only human. You don't want to harass people too much, but, they're just doing their job.
Right.
But it's, it's the principle of the thing sometimes.
Now she mentioned, paying for not only tickets to go into a convention, but the price of parking. Nick, please tell her how much parking was at the Phoenix Comic-Con.
Okay, well, let me start off by saying last year when I went, it was free. The parking garage was open until it was full, and then that was it. Okay, this year, prior to the shooting, or the potential shooting, it was $20. The next day, it was $70 per car.
Holy, $70 to park your car.
And that's like, I put up a photographic evidence. You're like, yeah.
And so, this is how we're making the world a safer place, is by raising the parking to $70.
Yes.
And I mean, I guess they can say, oh, well, we have to justify, bringing on more staff. so that they can watch out for everybody. I'm sure the explanation on their part as to why that was justified.
I wish I was the one being able to justify that one.
$70. Well, it's even like for us, conventions. We're right in Philadelphia. Conventions in our, since it's, any city, like in your backyard, you're like, oh, it's right here. It's great. Like, it's still ridiculously expensive just to go for the day. And it's not fair because it starts to push out a lot of people that would go, but, unless you have, a great job and a lavish lifestyle, or you saved up all year and this is like the only vacation that you're going on, you're not going.
No, though, you're right, though, because there are some celebrities and people in different genres that feel exactly the same way. This is kind of, I'm going to let a little fandom out here, but almost every year we go to the Vampire Diaries convention. And I'm always disappointed because the main actor from the spin-off of the Vampire Diaries, his name's Joseph Morgan, he doesn't appear at the convention. And finally, we were volunteering and we were hanging out with the volunteers and we were asking, where's Joseph? He never comes to these things. And he's like the biggest star of the show. And they told us that he doesn't feel comfortable charging money to take a picture with him or to have him sign a picture of him. He thinks it's a ripoff and that he just doesn't want to victimize his fans.
I think that's awesome. I applaud him for that. That's really, it is. It takes a lot of, it's a weird thing too. That's like a double-edged sword with that because in some ways, like for him, yeah, because he's making a great living and everything. But there's a lot of people that really throughout the years have relied upon that, those convention appearances to make continued income, especially for wrestlers. There are people that are legends that are injured that can't appear anymore, that can't work anymore and make their money strictly by making appearances and things like that. And in that way, I don't think that's taking advantage of people, but I definitely think that charging people, $200, $300 when they're already there paying all that money, it is just taking highway robbery.
Right.
Insanity. But, that's why, people can go to Ontario Street Comics this, Saturday and not have to pay for parking. And not only will they get to see Echo as Wonder Woman, they get to meet a pirate. Am I right? There he is.
You say pirate, matey.
How are you?
Always free parking at Ontario Street Comics. No meters, no lots.
There you go. That's why we love Ontario.
I just wanted to touch base before I left for the night. I've been here for 11 and a half hours now, and I want to go home. But I couldn't resist calling in and talking to Echo, who we're very happy to have as a guest here on the first ever Wonder Woman Day at Ontario Comics Saturday.
I'm very, very excited to come and join you guys for that, and I wanted to thank you as well because it's one of those things that I'm one of those people that I do need a little kick in the butt sometimes to start doing creative things, and as we're, my Wonder Woman costume had kind of gotten worn out, and a lot of pieces broke on it, and I just kind of retired it, and I let it sit there, and you asked me if I could bring it out of retirement, so as we all talk, I'm sitting here painting some brand new pieces that I added to the costume that I spent today making, and it's been one of the happiest creative days that I've gotten to spend recently. So thank you.
It's awesome. We appreciate that, bringing it out of mothballs there, and we have little bracelets and tiaras to give out to the kids on Wonder Woman Day, and we have free Wonder Woman comics and free Superhero Girls comics. So it should be a blast, for those people that aren't going to be at Wizard World. We'll give them their own little mini convention here.
I love it. I think it's a great idea. I'm very excited.
I mean, I'm sure that Wizard World had planned this date long in advance of when they actually announced Wonder Woman Day. So we do have a little bit of a conflict, but as usual, we're pirates. We'll deal with it, and I'm sure we'll still have a lot of people show up here for it, and it just should be a blast.
Awesome. I can't wait.
And how awesome is, like, just the love that Wonder Woman's getting right now?
It is really awesome. Wonder, like, it's really, really nice, and I have not gotten to see the movie yet, but from all the previews, I am pretty excited about it. It really does. It looks really, really good. It looks action-packed. It looks exciting. All of the fight scenes that I have seen so far look phenomenal. So I'm stoked, and it's just nice to see. There's so many different generations that Wonder Woman has touched, and people really, it speaks to people in such a different way, and I think it means a little something different to everybody. Certainly, you know, talking to people from my mom's generation, it means something really different than it means to little girls today, but it's really cool just to see that same, you know, symbol survive through, you know, from the 40s until now. It's crazy.
Right, and it the movie, I hear, has even gotten pretty high ratings on that Rotten Tomatoes site or whatever that is. So, you know?
Yeah.
If they're not trashing it, it must be pretty damn good. So.
Yeah.
I think what's cool about it, though, is that Wonder Woman is a character that she's part of America. You know what I mean? Like, in every era, you can pick out sort of a Wonder Woman visual, and hopefully this movie is going to inspire some new comic fans that are going to go back and rediscover, you know, the classic Wonder Woman stuff. And, it's good for comics.
Didn't I see a picture once or twice of Miss Echo as Rosie the Riveter?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I did that for one of the retro
about
cons.
iconic women, you know?
Yes. And I love that time period. I love, you know, I'm a makeup artist for many, many years. So that all the makeup from that time period, the actresses, the hair, the clothes, everything from the 40s, I absolutely adore. It's definitely visually one of my favorite eras. So I'm really glad that they set it in that time period too.
All righty. Well, I'm going to get out of here because there's rumors that my wife is actually cooking dinner tonight, and there's rumors that it's something that I like. So if it's burned and chewy, I'll probably never get that option again there. So I'm going to get out of here, and I'll let you folks finish up with your interview there, and we'll try and get everything ready for Saturday for the first official Wonder Woman Day.
Awesome. I'll see you then. I can't wait.
All right. See you later, Bay and Nick. Night, Echo.
Talk to you soon.
Night.
Take care, Bill. Oh, Bill, Janetti's there too, but he's very quiet. He's waiting to go to the boom boom room. So now, Echo, you mentioned your mom, and if people don't know, like you work closely with your mom doing you guys have your own jewelry line. It's Wicked Witch Jewelry.
Yeah, Wicked Witch Studios. We are. It's something that we've worked together doing for quite a few years now. And it's small, you know, she's got, you know, just as much competitive nature as I do. So we keep it really nice and small. We really do it mostly for ourselves. And we do sell at some local shows. We were down in Moose, Delaware last weekend. And we will be in Newark, Delaware on June 10th for their Art on the Lawn, which is a neat event. Starts at like 3 in the afternoon and goes until 8 in the evening. So I'm pretty excited for that one too. But cool. Yeah, that's one of the places that I get a lot of the skills for my cosplay from is the metal work that we do there and the jewelry. It's kind of similar to like a lot of my Wonder Woman armor, but it's just on a larger scale where the jewelry is on a much smaller scale.
Sure. Now, was your mom a comic book fan too, or?
No, actually, she was big, huge reader. Everybody in my family are all really, really into reading, and that was while I was growing up. That was one of the rules. We were very restricted in our television watching, and our movie watching too. But we were able to read whatever we wanted to. So I was a really voracious fiction reader, but I didn't come into reading comics until I was a teenager. That was something that, you know, my dad was more into, like comics and horror movies and all of that stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah, that definitely, you know, for my mom, you know, Wonder Woman is definitely like Linda Carter. That is my mom's Wonder Woman.
Now, what does she think when she sees you do like all these different cosplay costumes?
Oh, she loves it. She absolutely loves it. I've always had like a real crazy look to me, and I had the best parents. They really have always been supportive of whatever weird way I wanted to look or weird thing I wanted to do with my life. They were, you know, as long as it makes you happy and, you know, you're good and you're doing well, then, you know, they support it. And they love to see all the weird different things that I do, and I get to have some nice creative time. You know, sometimes I'll go over to my mom's and she'll be working on her jewelry and I'll be working on costumes, and you know, it's a nice time. Anything creative is celebrated in my family, and it's a wonderful thing.
That's awesome. Now, I got to ask, are you Italian?
A little bit. I'm a little bit of everything. I always tell people I'm 10 types of white girl.
Because I was going to ask the Italian question, but I don't know if it would work for you. Like, for you, would it be gravy or sauce?
Oh, for us, it was sauce for us.
Oof.
It was. So
Oof.
my Italian comes from my dad's side. My dad was Italian. My dad grew up in Queens.
Okay.
And my dad was Italian and Jewish. So it was my Jewish grandmother that was doing the cooking. So that's how it went. That's when the gravy changed over to sauce. Gotcha.
Yeah. That explains it.
Still tastes the same. Still tastes the same.
Oh, yes. Grandmom's cooking. Now, okay, so you're going to be at Ontario on Saturday. Are you going to be hitting up the Wizard World at all over the weekend, or I think you're going down to
I'll be down. I'll be at Ontario until about 3, and then I'll be heading down into the convention center area. So if people are looking to do photo shoots or anything, like I said, I'm updating my costume. It's probably about I would say at least 50% new.
Oh wow!
So I haven't done any shoots with these pieces yet. So I'm excited to to show off all the new stuff, and with like you guys were saying, with all that love that Wonder Woman's been getting, I'm sure it's going to be a really big hit. So
nice, absolutely. It's exciting. Yeah. You're coming out of retirement.
It is exciting. It is. Well, she's had several revamps over the years, and I was, because Wonder Woman is such a mainstream character, it wasn't something that I was really into. I was always more of a Marvel girl on that side of things, and I always, a lot of the DC always seemed like that, it seems that it's like for a long time I kept that very 1950s, view of the world, and we were even remarking that it's interesting that they have people drinking alcohol in the Flash and stuff like that now, and how far DC has come. But when you look back on the origins of Wonder Woman and Marston and the things that he wrote, that was certainly really forward for its time, and pretty shocking. And then when you think about that, and then you see all these little girls running around Wonder Woman costumes, you're like, oh, wow, there's some real crazy, moral conflict here.
Now, one of I guess, probably in the last year and a half, the most popular cosplay character has been Harley Quinn. Have you ever done a Harley Quinn?
No. You will never, ever, ever catch me dead in a Harley Quinn costume ever.
No, not even the animated series version.
I would sooner do a character like Dee Dee than I would do Harley Quinn. Just because it's one of those things that there's so many people that do it that there's definitely going to be people that have done it really well already. There's people that have done every twist imaginable on it, and that there's, I don't feel like I could bring anything to that hasn't already been done. And it's not a character, Wonder Woman is a character that speaks to me on, an emotional level, on an intellectual level, the things that I love about her, her compassion and, all kinds of things.
All right, you said you're a Marvel fan, so I'm going to throw one at you. Tell me what you think. My all-time favorite character here, Mockingbird. No.
Give me a further line to give me a little more.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like Mockingbird from Marvel or from West Coast Avengers. Is that
West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
I was like, couldn't remember where she was. And why is she your favorite?
She's just a badass. She's smart. She's my favorite. I have all of her comics, all of her appearances.
I haven't read too much West Coast Avengers, which is, She-Hulk's from the West Coast, so I probably should. I was just looking when I was shopping for comics today. I saw that Great Lakes Avengers is back out, and there's a new one of those kind of came back out too. So I was like, I gotta look into that because they were pretty silly.
Mockingbird has a cool costume. There's these like retro glasses that are sort of goggles, and she has a history. She was married to Hawkeye. I mean, it's good stuff there.
Now I'm going to have to go check her out some more since she's your fave.
Now, is there anybody like on the radar, or you've been thinking like, I got to try that cosplay, like that you haven't done yet, that you've been wanting to?
Gosh, I don't know. We've been really focused in on like our group cosplays, so I haven't. There's nobody there's nothing that's sitting like in waiting right now. I mean, there's a ton of them that that like I could write a wish list like a mile long. I don't have anything currently like sitting in the works, but yeah, oh God, like I could go on forever of the things that I want to do if I had unlimited budget. One thing that is a pretty popular one that I haven't done that I will eventually get to at some point is Mystique. And I will probably do the classic, white dress with gold belt and everything. So that's one of the ones that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to eventually get to that one. I have to finish my Sun Apocalypse costume. That might get finished someday. Who knows?
Now, people have to see, and Nick, I don't know if you saw this. If you go onto her Facebook page, I'm pretty sure it was. I'm looking for it now, where it was at a recent convention, and she was like leading the charge of all the Pokemon.
Oh yes. It was all of the Spartan Pokemon, and I was in my Team Rocket. I was leading the way, leading them all in the charge. That was a lot of fun, and it was a totally spontaneous moment. That was one of my favorite cosplay moments that's ever happened, because it just happened. It wasn't super planned. Like we did do the take a few times, but it just like happened. Like they happened to be in the same place that I was, and there was somebody with a guy with a video camera there, so we all just kind of made it happen, and I love when things like that happen. So there is a new song in the works that actually is cosplay related, and hopefully will come out at maybe sometime in the never future. But it's for Team Skull, which is the new bad guys in Pokemon. And they're like it's so cool, it fits right in because they're very hip hop based, but it's still kind of silly and a little bit campy too. So I am working on a Pokemon song for Team Skull that hopefully will be done by AwesomeCon, which is the next place that we will be later on this month. I think that's the 17th of this month.
No, that's awesome, because like when you see the pictures of you and the crew in Team Skull, I mean that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's like a hip hop look.
Yes. And it is. It's very, very kind of reminiscent of like early '90s, like like DOS effects, that kind of thing. Very. But it's the kids in there. I mean, if you play the Pokemon game or you watch the anime, it's like they're all kind of these like rough and tumble kids that don't really know what they're doing. So you get to be like ridiculously silly. It's very a la Deadpool. You get to really kind of like take it to the max with your ridiculousness. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome. Now you got to like send that song over to us so we can check it out.
Yes, hopefully I'll finish it.
No, you're going to finish it. And you're going to do a video for it too. Like you haven't done videos. Come on, come on. It's time.
I know, I'm slacking. I need a new laptop. My laptop will only allow me to make like a video that's 10 minutes or less. So yeah, hopefully that'll come out. We're hoping to team up with a wrestler that's coming out from the West. She's one of my favorites on the indie circuit. Her name is Thunder Rosa, and her tag partner Holodead. And we teamed up with them when they came out a little while ago to do some makeup for them, and they really liked the videos that we did. So they want to do something with us. And El Santo, which is another character we like to feature in our videos. And if you haven't seen those, check me out on the Echo Endless on YouTube, and you can see our curls video was by far one of our most popular videos, and it's a lot of fun. So we're hoping to have a lot of fun with those ladies when they come out, and I think that's going to be next week.
And that was another thing, too. You were going for a wrestling career for a little bit. What happened with that?
I got injured, and I it petered out a little bit. So I had some ankle injuries, and I was just like, yeah, I'm totally going to come back from this. And I just haven't given it the gusto to get back. And then I, got my new secret identity normal person job. And for the last 6 months, I've been sitting at a desk and not working out at all.
So with the secret identity sitting behind a desk, do like people know your other side that you work with?
It's slowly, like little by little, it's coming out. Like they find out like about the jewelry, and then I'll show like a picture here or there, or something that was going on. But I like, and this is just me as a person. Whatever I'm doing, I like you to know and respect me for that before anything else. Like I don't want it to be a distraction. Hey, I'm this artist person that does all of these other things. I would rather people that I work with respect me for the quality that I do at my job than, think that I'm cool because I do all these crazy things on the side.
So, in other words, you don't want the fact that you paint yourself green to distract anything, right?
Yes. It can be a little distracting.
Just a tad. Oh, that's too funny. Cool. So, okay, this has been great catching up, and we need to kick your ass, get motivated. Come on, you're getting back into things. Music's flowing. Costumes are starting to work, and this weekend you'll be out and about, and then in 2 weeks again at Awesome Con. So things are starting to pick up. So here you go.
Yep, warm weather's here. I got to get out there and do it because you only get to live once.
That's it. It's now or never.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on the show. Again, it's always great talking with you. You guys always get me talking on so many different interesting things.
Hey, Nick, anything before we let her go?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Cool. And how about
awesome.
Let me see if Janetti's still there, if he left for the Boom Boom Room yet. Janetti left for the Boom Boom Room. She's probably like, what the hell? That's a whole nother story. So, all right. So this Saturday, now you're going to be there from 11 a.m. to 3 on Ontario Street Comics.
Yeah.
She'll be there as Wonder Woman.
Indeed.
And then if you're down at Wizard World, keep an eye open because she'll be floating around down there as well.
Yes. And I may be floating around tomorrow evening, Wizard World, as well as in Team Skull. So if you happen to see a big Skull logo and some pinky purple hair float by, that would be me.
Nice. That would match my car. Now, you see, we'll be at Gene Simmons tomorrow night, right up the street. So.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Oh, enjoy that very much.
Absolutely. Very cool. Well, I hope to see you Saturday. I'm going to try to make it out there. And, yeah, we got to get pictures of you with our new magazine.
Yes, it'd be wonderful to see you.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you as
awesome.
Always, Echo, and talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, guys.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, there she goes, Echo Endless. You can find her on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check her out. Like her, love her, follow her. Super, uber talented. Amazing person.
Dude, I love the idea of, like, you have to find her at Comic-Con. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to meet this, your favorite cosplayer, do the work. You know what I mean?
So in other words, it'd be like Echo Endless Go.
Yeah.
See, like now nobody can hear that. Like, we need to design our own app, like, of that, and you find your own cosplayer. You know what I mean? Like, you find the cosplayer at the conventions.
Right. That'd be cool. So people could say, like, they could, like, drop a pin in their location and be like, so and so as Dr. Doom is here. You could post a picture, and then people would know where to go.
That would be wild.
That'd be cool. Get on that. Start coding.
Oh, I wish I knew how to do that stuff.
I do too, man, because I have so many ideas.